Welcome to Scrubbed In and Speaking Out, the podcast from the Registered Nurses Union of Newfoundland and Labrador, where we dive into the issues facing nurses and the advocacy shaping the future of public healthcare in our province. I'm Yvette Coffey, President of the Registered Nurses Union, and today I'm joined by our Executive Director, David Hammond. David, thanks for joining me.
No problem.
So, David, I want to start by giving you an opportunity, to talk about our approach to collective bargaining this round. First of all, can you explain to our members and the public, I guess, what it means when we say it's a membership-driven bargaining?
All right. Thank you, Yvette. So when we say membership-driven, it's first we need to recognize that membership-driven, proactive, a democratic union is embedded into our values. So we really want to hear from our members across the province. What do they need? There seems to always be a miscommunication when it comes to collective bargaining on how do we get proposals to the negotiating table? How do we enter into a tentative agreement? How does the provincial collective bargaining team decide on, if we're going to accept the tentative agreement and then bring a proposal for vote to the provincial membership. So when we're membership driven, it's important that everyone understand that our collective bargaining team will only make decisions based on the information that we receive from our membership. So when we talk about membership driven, we have started since convention of last year. We have started a negotiations campaign with our membership. We are strongly encouraging all of our members to submit their respective proposals to our RNU office. And what we're doing is we're compiling all that information and we're able to generate themes. And themes could be, pay increases, different incentives for overtime, extra leave. It the sky's the limit when it comes to this. But when we go into collective bargaining with the government, before we make any decision, we always base it on our research, and our research comes from our members. Right. So our members have to tell us what they want.
And how do they do that?
Well, they can email us. We have various social media platforms. There's a lot of ways that they can reach out to RNU with their proposals. Even if they have questions, we have the info@rnunl.ca email address. Everybody in our membership has a My RNU account. So they can log on to their My RNU account and they'll see all the information that's there. It explains exactly how collective bargaining works. It shows what our members are asking for, what's popular, what's not popular. I will say I compile the analysis, all the data, and create the analysis myself. And really, we can have thousands of proposals, but we need to rank the proposals based on popularity. Really, what's most important to our memberships? That's when we talk about membership driven. It's what's important and what the amount of members that participate in this survey and provide us with ideas is what's going to dictate on what we agree to or not when dealing with government.
On our own website, our members have the ability to go in and read the information of how they can put a proposal into our bargaining team. Where you compile and do the analysis in that. And that email is provided on our website. And if they have difficulty or are not receiving any information from RNU, what do they do?
Well, if they're not receiving information, our communications team, they are pushing out information through email and through various social media platforms. I would highly recommend that all of our members should be following our Facebook page. If they're on Instagram, if they're on LinkedIn, there's a lot of information that is being pushed out there. If they're not receiving information through their email, I would suggest our communications are either in their spam folders, the junk email or whatnot, or really it's quite possible that the email address that they're using today is not accurate or not reflective of the email address that they started using several months ago or several years ago when they started their career as a nurse. And just for example, we know that a lot of our members, when they initially signed up at our new office, they were using their Memorial University addresses. And since then, they've a lot of people would use it because they were using this within the university, but they don't use it anymore. They've never contacted RNU to update their email address. So they're probably getting emails. They're just not being sent to the right address or an address that they use anymore. So if you're not receiving information on collective bargaining from us, it's very important. Reach out to the RNU head office, and our information is online. You can reach us on Facebook. There's a lot of mechanisms that you can reach us, and just provide that right contact information to ensure that you're getting the right messaging. Really, when it comes to collective bargaining, what's very unique on our website, it's not just a matter of here's what's popular. We broke it down by profession. So it's what's popular with nurse practitioners versus what's popular with registered nurses. And you'll see there, while there is a lot of overlap, there are some distinct differences with the nurse practitioner group versus the registered nurse group. So again, to bring it back to membership driven, right? You can see a clear picture on what the demands are of our membership. And it's these proposals, these concepts, these ideas, this is what we'll take to the bargaining table and try to negotiate the best possible deal.
And on that note, I'd like to just add in that along with sharing your contact information for our members, it's updating our membership database if you go from a registered nurse to a nurse practitioner. So then we can, separate out the groups too when we're doing emails. Many nurses, and you already touched on this, David, do not fully or may not fully understand how bargaining unfolds behind the scenes because we're not out in the public talking about every single step. So could you walk us through, first of all, start to finish, how proposals are developed, how discussions happen at the table, and what members can expect as we progress through the process?
As we get closer to collective bargaining, or really get closer to the expiration of our collective agreement, we will serve notice to the provincial government that we're ready to bargain. Within that, there'll be so much time in which we'll need to get together in order to really finalize what our asks are going to be. So the way collective bargaining works is, prior to all of this, we start negotiating, or we start advertising or pushing our members to provide us with information. So we want to know, what are the asks? What are our members looking for? I've said this in many branch meetings throughout the year. My expectation as the executive director and the chief negotiator is that we have 100% participation. If we do not reach 100% participation, then to me that's a failure on us, and that's a failure on the profession. We talk about transparency. We talk about effective communication. Our collective bargaining team is going to make decisions based on the information it receives from the membership. Absolutely. So with over 6,000 members, there is no reason, especially in today's modern times, it's very easy to reach out to RNU office. There's no reason why we should not get 100% of our membership contributing to this collective bargaining process. Because once we start collective bargaining with government, we go into what's called a blackout mode, and this is not uncommon. This is when matters at the table are kept confidential as we negotiate back and forth between government. What will happen is that as we base our data or our ask on themes or whatnot, how many of them we're able to achieve at the table, that's going to dictate if our negotiating team is willing to accept a tentative agreement. So we may have 5 or 6 big ticket items that our membership across the province will want. And overall, though, but there may be 1,000 ask from it, depending on your perspective, right? Emergency versus mental health versus community. There's a lot of things out there that different people want based on their perspective of their profession. But once we start getting into the table, or getting to the table with government, and we start to achieve some of these results, or we're getting some gains here, it's not typical to get 100% of your ask. We're not going to rewrite a collective agreement. When you talk about the history of labor relations and jurisdictional scans with our sister unions across the country under the Canadian Federation of Nurses Unions, 3 to 5 big ticket items, that's essentially the norm. Anything above 5 big ticket items, that's considered really good. But, we're not going to be able to get everything that the members want. We have to make a decision on, what's the best possible deal that we can get for our members. And eventually what happens, if we think that this is the best we can get, our negotiating team is going to have to make a vote. Are we willing to accept a tentative agreement with this? Or we're going to say, no, we're not going to bring this to the membership. We're not satisfied. It really depends on the satisfaction of our negotiating team, and their satisfaction is 100% reflective of the information that's being provided to them by our membership.
Can you just go through, so I guess we didn't touch on that in the beginning. You're talking about our negotiating team. How do we select our negotiating team?
We do have policies out there that do speak to how we create our team. We also had a resolution passed this last convention with respect to adding a second nurse practitioner to the negotiating team. Mm-hmm. But essentially, what we do is we'll put out a call to our provincial membership. It's time to form our negotiating team. Who's interested, essentially, and then people would then submit their interest to us, to my RNU office, and then we will take all the people we look at and say, okay, let's look at our policy. Let's look at our procedures. We need to ensure that we have, provincial representation. So we need someone from the Labrador-Grenfell area. We need someone from Western Newfoundland, someone from Central Newfoundland. Eastern Newfoundland is broken down, Eastern rural versus Eastern urban. We need educators. We need 2 nurse practitioners, and we need community health and then acute care as well. So we have a very diverse group, especially this round as well. The experience level varies. So we have members that are very seasoned when it comes to unionism. We have a few repeat members from the last round of collective bargaining. We have some fairly new members that are fairly new to the profession that are participating on our negotiating team. So we're policy driven on that. It's not a matter of who we think is the best fit for collective bargaining. It's really our policy will dictate that to ensure that we are fully representative of our membership across the province. And I must say, I'm very optimistic about our negotiating team, the diversity, the different perspectives that we have. I can only see this benefiting our members as a whole as we move forward. What's really interesting this time is we also have our provincial executive as observers this year. So our provincial secretary treasurer and our provincial vice president will also participate as observers. So we have a lot of experience, a lot of unionized, volunteer experience, and then we have some really new people. So I'm very excited to get their perspectives on it. But again, I always bring it back. We're membership driven. So we're going to make decisions based on what our members provide to us. And I can't stress this enough. And it's not to sound like a broken record, but if we don't get the membership participation, this will not work. It's going to be considered a failure if we don't. I am glad to say that I have information from our members. We're almost at about 10%. So that's 90% of the 6,000 people that we need to get information from. Because as we get closer to collective bargaining, it's very important that our membership knows that we will start hosting town halls. And we'll start explaining the themes to our members. Here's what we're hearing. Yep. Here's what we understand is being asked. We can't tell our members this is exactly what we're going to go in for, but we'll say, we understand. People want to get rid of a 2-tier sick leave system within government, so we're going to try our best to get that. We know that people want pay increases, so we understand that, but we talk about a pay increase, like compared to what? So do we want to be provincial? Do we want to be leaders across the country, or do we want to be followers? So we'll create marketing campaigns to address this. But we're going to ensure that our membership has every opportunity to participate in this process, even if they think that what they're doing is very minimal. It's not. It could be a lot. And just to give you an example, Yvette, as I said in previous branch meetings, you may come up with an idea That's not on the popular list. We could have 1,000 things on the My RNU platform. If someone comes up with an idea that's not popular, so that may not be popular, but all of a sudden people are reading that list. We have been encouraging our members to read that list every week to see if there's differences, if there's updates. There could be something on that list that no one's ever considered. It may be non-monetary in value. And what, say, is ranked 1,000 today could be ranked in the top 500 next week, and it can be in the top 10 the week after that. So everyone plays an important role. Every email that gets sent in, or every proposal that gets sent into RNU office, I personally review them. So if they think, I'm sending this in, it's not going to go anywhere. Oh no, I read them. I've had a lot of interesting proposals asked, and everything is publicized on the My RNU platform.
Is there any other way for our members going forward between now and when we go to the table with government for them? Because historically, what we've always done, it's been based on member research. So we do public polls. We hire a company to do surveys or research with our members about their priorities. And we also do it with the public too, about, we engage the public when we're at collective bargaining. Are we still going to be doing that type of engagement with the public and with our members throughout this process? Or is it all going to be membership emailing us with their ideas?
There's still going to be some engagement under that style. But really what it's going to come down to is we want to hear from members directly. I don't like the idea of spending thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to an external firm to do research that we can do in-house. That said, there is going to be, public opinion is very important. So it is quite possible that we will look at getting an external vendor to conduct some external research for us, primarily because their databases expand far more far-reaching than ours. We basically have our membership, and that's essentially it. But we will be using some form of external vendor to conduct that research with the general public. And really, as we get to the final stages of collective bargaining, we really need to know what our members are willing to strike over. And due to confidentiality and due to the sensitive nature of that, we will be utilizing an external firm to get that information. So it's all fine for our members to say, we want triple time for all mandated overtime. That's very popular on the list.
Fair.
Are you willing to strike over it if we don't get it? Because if our members are saying, and we have the majority of our members are saying that they're willing to strike over a particular issue that's being brought to that table, or a particular proposal, then if we don't achieve that as a negotiating team, then we will strike. We will start that process of going to the picket line. And there's sometimes a misunderstanding that registered nurses or healthcare professionals or the MIA or the RNU union can't strike. That couldn't be any further from the truth. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And really what it comes down to is we have the same collective rights as any other person in this province. Yeah, we're a more regulated profession because of healthcare, but we have the exact same rights. So if we need to pick it, then we will pick it. And again, I always bring it back. We're only going to pick it based on what our members tell us, if they're willing to strike over something or not. And the strength or validity of that is only based on how much our members are willing to participate in this process.
Recently, we've had some questions around collective bargaining and priorities. And it stems from resolutions that we heard at our biennial convention. And one of the big ones, and people have heard me in the media talk about flex time language when it comes to community and public health. And I often refer to our community and public health members as the poor cousins of RNU. They're not entitled to, under the collective agreement, the rights to overtime, the same as their counterparts in the acute care setting, in long-term care, or anywhere else in our system. So the resolution that got passed at convention was that flex time has to go. And I know from the last 2 rounds or 3 rounds of bargaining that I've been involved in, that flex time was on the table. And we did try to get it out of the collective agreement and didn't manage to do that. having that resolution come forward at convention, which is our supreme authority when it comes to the organization. What does that mean for collective bargaining and priorities for collective bargaining?
Having attended the last biannual convention myself, so I know this was a unanimous acceptance that flex time language, which covers community health, is to be eliminated from the collective agreement. There's no, when it comes to a resolution at convention, there's no we'll try our best to do it, or, we'll decide, or there's a may or whatnot. This is to strike it out of our collective agreement. Our community health nurses are frustrated. They do sound like our poor cousins, but the value that they bring to the community is non-compensable. Mm-hmm. But I will say that when it comes to a resolution being passed at convention, that's what guides us. So we've entered or we've agreed to resolutions for clarity projects for nurse practitioners, alternate funding models for nurse practitioners. We're advocating for human rights, better quality of life. There's a lot of our strategic plan comes out of the resolutions that are passed by our membership. With flex time, once our members agree that, yes, this must go, we've already put government on notice. Mm-hmm. We said that we are not prepared to enter into a collective agreement if flex time language is not eliminated or struck clean of, through our next document. So they're well aware that they're well aware of this. Mm-hmm. I know you've been in the media, Claire, very clear about if this is not eliminated, we're willing to strike over it. And there seems to be some confusion amongst our membership on what exactly that means. Mm-hmm. But one interesting thing, it doesn't matter how many people want a particular item brought to the bargaining table, right? A resolution, our supreme governing body is convention. Once that resolution is passed, one of our biggest priorities will be flex time. And it automatically pushes flex time up that priority ladder because convention has representation from across the province. The delegates represent the members, and not one person voted against it. So it was very telling that this is something that impacts a lot of people, and it's time to change. It's archaic language. The relevance of it in our collective agreement makes no sense. It creates a divide, a two-tier system, and our members have had enough of it. So it's gonna go. And that resolution it completely supports that, and it strengthens our voice to do that during collective bargaining.
So how can our members stay informed now throughout this process? Because bargaining can take, 2019 or 2020 during the pandemic, it was, okay, let's just extend the collective agreement. COVID's on the go and we're not, right? Or it can be a 2 or 3 year process. Leading up to collective bargaining, the end of the collective agreement, we know communication is going to be essential. Communication's always essential. What's the best ways for our members to stay informed?
It's a very interesting question. And the reason why it's interesting, because the best way to stay informed is to remain engaged. So we're going to keep members informed. One, we're going to be pushing information out to them. So as we said earlier, it's important that you keep your information updated with provincial office. We'll be pushing emails out weekly. As we get closer, you may start to get them daily. There will be updates that will be advertised on our social media platforms. But really, the best way to get the information is My RNU. Everybody has that unique ability to get into My RNU. It's a secured platform. Everybody has access to it, and all information that's required really for even the person who has the least amount of experience or don't know much about it. It's all there. So everyone who reads this will have a better understanding of collective bargaining and exactly where we are with collective bargaining. You can always reach out to your negotiating team. So our negotiating team is advertised. Again, representation from across the province. You can reach out to individual members of the negotiating team. You can reach out to RNU office directly. The info at Meyer or at rnunl.ca. Great resource. And your questions will be carried to the right person. Another good way to keep informed, attend our open houses. When we do these open houses, it's very, very important to attend these. We'll call them open houses, we'll call them town halls, we'll call them info sessions, whatever it is. Yes. So everyone will have an opportunity to participate in this, and I'm very optimistic and motivated that if their engagement stays high, then guess what? You will be informed, and there's no reason that any member, regardless if they're new to the profession or the most seasoned member, there's no reason for anyone not to be informed on how this process is going. And there's going to be a lot of information provided, and they'll have every ability to get it. And if they don't have it, again, ask for it, and we'll be more than happy to provide it.
So, David, how would people? We've talked a lot about the My RNU webpage and it. How do our members? Because not all members are, accessing that. Can you explain how our members access that and where they would find the information on collective bargaining?
So in order to access this information, it's fairly straightforward. You can go online and on your mobile device or your laptop, you just open the Internet Explorer and you type in www.rnunl.ca. So that's our provincial website. Once you get to that website, you'll notice up in the top right corner, there's a My RNU option to log in. And then once you click on that, it'll take you to a new screen. And it's just like Facebook. Enter your username, enter your password. If you do not have a username or password, as I said, you can reach out to our RNU provincial office, and we'll be more than happy to get you signed up to it. There's no reason why everyone should not have a username or access to this. And once they get in, you'll notice that there's some tabs onto the left-hand side of the page. One of the tabs is specific to collective bargaining. You'll also see signs being flashed as you go in there. It'll be flashed on the main page and say, here's what we're hearing. Here's what we're hearing for collective bargaining, stuff like that. But you'll see a collective bargaining tab on the left-hand side of either your mobile device or on your screen or whatnot. And when you click on that, you'll see all the information. You'll have access to everything that we're pushing to our members. Every branch meeting that we attend, our recent Council of Presidents, branch executive training, we have the same messages. Everything that we've been providing to our members is able, and it's displayed on My RNU. You'll also see the ranking of priorities on when it comes to collective bargaining themes, on what we're hearing from our members based on percentages. So we can, for example, it could be 80% of our members are asking for us to get rid of a two-tier sick leave system. 75% are asking for increases in pay to reflect inflation. And these are just examples, but you'll see that list, and it's broken down by registered nurse and nurse practitioner. So the nurse practitioners can go in and see what's specific to them and whatnot. And then the big part of this is, of course, is that you'll see the numbers up there. The numbers, we're not quite at 10% yet, as I said earlier. So it's you see that information, you look at the numbers. Everybody here can be an advocate for collective bargaining as well. So if God, did you put your proposals in yet? Someone says no, remember, whoever is asking the question should be saying, well, you probably should, because what a better way to be part of this process. Again, we are a membership-driven, we're a proactive, membership-driven, democratic union. And this is just one of the examples of some of the great things we're doing for our membership.
So just to repeat what David just said, please visit our website, www.rnu.ca. Enter onto the collective bargaining tab and view what people are already sending us. And it also contains the information about how to get your ideas and your proposals in. We want to hear from every single registered nurse and nurse practitioner. This is your collective agreement. This is not my collective agreement. It's not David's collective agreement. This is your collective agreement. And we want your input and your voices, which is what we echo every single day. Thank you, David, for this. I think this is a great start as we lead into collective bargaining. I want to thank everybody for listening in to Scrubbed In and Speaking Out. And don't forget to follow or subscribe to our conversations about nursing, advocacy, and shaping the future of public health care in Newfoundland and Labrador.